Peace and blessings, everyone. It's your girl Mocaso, and we are here for another Women in the Metaverse. Now, every Monday, you guys know we come together to open up a space to encourage women to meet us here in the Metaverse, listen to the replays, or do whatever you have to, because we come in here and we have iron sharpening conversations that are going to elevate your mind and so much more. And today, as I've been trying to tell you guys, we've been really working at getting some amazing women here to speak with us about their own perspectives of being women in the metaverse and in this space. And we are honored to have some amazing women that are here with us to do just that. So we'll be speaking with Tavonia Evans today, the founder of Guapcoin, as well as SuperNina, who founded the Supermind business as well, Zarina Muhammad, who is a metaverse teacher, and then also PressBe, who is the pop culture princess. Now I'm going to let you guys give a official introduction and tell them all about what you do, because I'm like, it was hard for me trying to find a few words to describe everything that you all are all about. And I think that's the beauty of being a woman, right? Because we kind of wear many hats. So to get today started, I would love to have you all introduce yourself and start by telling us your name, of course, and then what you do in the space. So we'll start with Miss Tavonia, and then we'll go down the line from there.
Hey, you can hear me, right?
Yes,
Good.
ma'am.
I just unmuted. Yes. Okay, cool. So hi everybody, my name is Tavonia Evans, and yes, I'm the founder of Walkpoint. I am a technologist, engineer, geek. I've been in the technology space for well over 2 decades now. And I not only, build blockchains, of course, with Blockcoin and stuff like that, I also build metaverses as well. Building the metaverse, I've been involved in the metaverse for a long time too. I build here, but I build in Meta Horizons as well. And I just feel like this kind of completes my geekdom, I guess you could say. I always like to do something different with how I'm presenting everything. I also teach, and I'm also a celebrity astrologer, so that's why I might be in my other outfit right now, known as Aquarius Maximus on the internet. So, but I am in the process of bringing, I guess you could say, onboarding my audiences, etc., into the metaverse, because I'm like, we're all talking about the metaverse out there in the real world, and people ain't in the metaverse. It's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm like, how can we be telling the people about the world, telling people about the metaverse, but not telling people from in the metaverse or exposing them, because people tend to get involved in technology and they think they're going to break something or something, or I don't know what they think, but they need us. We're not only builders and developers, etc., but we're also, I guess, pioneers. So, lead them into where we, let's show them that, hey, this is a new medium for us to be able to get together.
I love that, and I 1,000% agree with you on that power of being a pioneer, because sometimes people just need to see it to believe it, right? I was saying that you have always been one of those people. From as soon as I seen you in your vision with Guapcoin, I'm like, oh, that's always my go-to example now, because sometimes people just have to see it to believe it, and then you become that example that others get to use, and it just continues to spiral from there. And that's a blessing to be able to do that. So thank you for sharing. We'll definitely continue to dive into that. Miss SuperNina, why don't you introduce yourself as well?
That was amazing. I loved hearing about your background, and thanks for inviting me to this panel. And a bit about me is that I was in kind of like a private equity investment space in design and fashion in the physical goods world, and also in wellness, developing things related to like genetics and other things that like improved food development. So then after that, I've always been like really involved in like innovative stuff and like things that like really disrupted like the status quo of like traditional industries and like how like turn around companies. So yeah, like I I've been like really curious about the 3D digital space, and I started my own studio in fashion and also in wellness. Recently worked with Doritos, which is a Pepsi brand that creates chips, and then also the Fabricant, which is a digital first fashion company in Web3, and yeah, it's been like really exciting to see things grow, and super excited to be part of it. And I've been mainly in the central land and in spatial and in Hyperfy, so excited to see where things go, and happy to kind of share my thoughts on my perspectives based on my background.
Yes, we appreciate you for being here. If you guys haven't seen SuperNina's emotes and super cool things that she makes, make sure you check it out because it is amazing. And I think especially make sure you follow all of the ladies here on the panel because their work, when you see the work that they're doing behind everything that they talk about today, it really speaks volumes as well, and you don't want to miss a thing that they have up their sleeve that will continue to dive in. So thank you so much for sharing that, SuperNina. And next we'll be hearing from Ms. Serena Muhammad, or Blue. Why don't you tell us about yourself and a bit about what you do?
Thank you for having me. It seems like I'm among some pretty impressive people women here, so thank you. I appreciate being invited to join as well. So my name is Tavonia Evans, but I go by Blue Rain and what my actual entry into the metaverse came from being introduced to a game called Upland, which is a virtual property trading metaverse based on the real world. So when I found out about basically NFTs being sold that were mapped to the actual real world in the metaverse, it makes sense to me because I heard of the sand. Actually, I saw like things about the sandbox and using them. They're too pricey to buy land in. And then I found Upland through just like ads or whatever on YouTube, people talking about it. And I was like, well, that makes more sense to me because people understand, oh, this is Los Angeles, this is New York, or that's the street on Hollywood Boulevard. So I was like, well, the metaverse needs to like, out, I don't know, outlandish to some people, but if you hear it's connected to the real world, then I think it's more able to be embraced by them, like the idea of owning something on Fifth Avenue in New York that they trade. So that's what basically got me into the metaverse. But then from there, because Upland allows people who are creators to build models within a Blender, the 3D modeling program is free, and basically open up what are called meta ventures in Upland, so they can sell their assets. That really drew me into learning about 3D modeling, and that drew me into learning about Unity. And I'm working on learning Unity now because there's like a lot of game development. And I think as far as metaverse goes, to get people to actually participate in joining the metaverse, they have to have a reason to come, and so it has to be engaging, entertaining, and then possibly a place where they can earn. And that's what I think is really awesome about Upland, is like keep playing Upland. But basically, from being involved in Upland, and it got me to doing videos on YouTube about Upland and just about the metaverse in general. I started building other places. I also joined Horizon Worlds, and I started trying to build within that platform. However, due to the limitations of people joining those worlds that they don't have the VR, I was basically steer my energy still towards Upland and Blender, because Upland itself can be played on people's phones, and also it's mobile, it's available on PCs everywhere. So I feel like Horizon World has a lot to offer. I mean, I always tell people like, this is such a great place. It's just the problem with how expensive the headset is to get involved in that metaverse. Then Spatial came out, and so with Spatial, that I think this is like a really great platform to have people involved in metaverse, especially both in Horizon Worlds and in Spatial. I noticed there weren't any places specifically for Muslims, and I myself am Muslim, so I was like, that's interesting. Here we are with these like really cool platforms, and there's not actually any representation. So I went ahead and opened up Muslim World here on Spatial, and then I started to open Muslim World and Horizon World, but no one's come yet. So we'll see what happens. I don't talk too long about me, but basically that's where I'm coming from, my background right now.
Wow, I love that, especially with you bringing up Upland. That was the first one, well, one of the first metaverses I really was into as well. Because, like you said, it made it make sense to people with understanding like it looks like what you're already used to is just in the game. But then, like you said, being able to add on top of that with Unity and in spaces like Spatial, where now we're all together in this beautiful garden and having this panel. It's amazing. And I appreciate those YouTube videos because that's how I found you as well. And I'm happy to have you here. So thank you for sharing that. Definitely check out her channel because, like I said, everything that everybody's doing on this stage is really sharing content. And we're going to move right over to Miss Press B so you can introduce yourself and tell people a bit about what you do.
Hi everyone, and yes, thanks Mo for inviting me. This is so cool to be here with you all. You guys just hearing your background, I'm like blown away. But my name is PressBe. I'm a PhD student studying psychology with specialization in Young and archives studies, and an avatar creator for VR chat and spatial. I'm also a world builder and Horizon World Sensational. I'm the owner of SUV's Backyard Theater. And I'm really new to VR and to the metaverse. I've had a headset for a little bit under a year. My first experience with VR was with the fitness app Supernatural. Uh, and then I got into building and Horizon World. And I've just fallen in love with the metaverse. So I enjoy being here with you all. I love exploring, seeing what the platform has to offer. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here. All of you amazing women and all of you that are here a part of watching it as well. You guys look great. And everybody that's watching the live stream or the replay, you guys know we appreciate all of the support. So I do have a few questions that have been outlined to talk about that representation of women in these different spaces that we occupy and are continuing to pioneer. And then we did have a few questions from the viewers that were posed, and then we'll open it up to anybody that is watching.
And I'm like, wow. So now you get excited and you want to do everything here. You want to bring everything over here. You will bring everybody over here. I mean, this it's just the just like I said, just the pure excitement of it. And you get tired of. I found that because I'm building a platform, and the platform is really about community. That's what crypto, the heart of crypto is. Decentralized crypto is community. And since it's about community, you want to find interesting ways of bringing people together in a community. I'm a very introverted person. A lot of people don't believe me because I'm also like, I told you I'm like a personality on Instagram, but people don't believe me, but I'm very introverted. And so always looking for a way to bring people to where I am versus me having to go out into the world. And the pandemic helped, but platforms like Spatial, Meta, Horizons, and stuff makes it even better. And I just see it improving. So I'm like, and I know she had mentioned Meta Horizons. I'm in Meta Horizons too, building worlds too. I love it. I think that they will eventually have. They said they were going to have multi platforms. I'm sure they will. So, when they do that, it's going to be definitely accessibility is a big thing, and here is much more accessible. But it takes people like me, voices and like you, et cetera, voices that are in here to push for interoperability, push for accessibility, push for, more options, et cetera. And I think women get more stuff done anyway, because if we really, you know, get loud about it, they're going to listen.
Okay, I feel you on that one. I would say the same thing. You get a couple women together and you're gonna get stuff done. And I love how
Right.
you financial education, financial literacy, that's something that was definitely needed. And when that pandemic happened, you could tell who was, just reading the script that had been passed along and say, hey, you can tell people you can make 100,000 if you do this. Or those that really were like, look, this is our chance to really change generational wealth
Yes.
and educate and build a foundation and a real community and
Yeah.
ecosystem around that.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
definitely amazing.
who's building and who's, whatever. And I think when you get a chance to come in the metaverse, you actually get to see who's building, like who's really about this.
Definitely. And I think that's cool. Like you said, all of us here are kind of still like early pioneers. So the world start to feel really small, especially when you talk about Second Life. I'm like, I was over here excited to go to Second Life, and you're like, you already been there and back, and it's like, but that's just how this it goes. And
Yeah.
so it's definitely cool though to be with those that are building it. I definitely agree with that. And Super Nina, I would love to hear what pushed you to transition from Web 2 to Web 3.
Yeah, thanks. I think that was such a good expression of what you experienced, Tavonia. Like honestly, it's been quite there's like so many like uncertainties and stuff, but then you like when you roll up your sleeves, I was like, whatever you like your identity is, it's um like this is a time to kind of make things happen. And I think that I haven't been too much in Second Life, but for myself, when it comes to Web 2, yeah, I've been in the space for a bit. I've also been in physical goods. I've started my own cafes. I've done like patent development for science related stuff. And then I think Web 3 has this like attraction to it that's like very different. Yeah, it's like great for introverts who can really develop stuff in the digital world. But I think there's an element of it in the physical world that doesn't exist, that um, hasn't been explored. And I think it's important to see how you can interconnect people from other parts of the world, any time zone, anywhere. It's like you can set up a cafe, like 24-hour cafe. Um, like you can't do that in the physical world so easily. Like, yeah, there's like such like creative ways to really do e-commerce, and like it's not explored yet, but I know that people are curious. So there's that, and then also in wellness, it's like, do you really like people have their own time frames and stuff, so it's like do you want to go to like a yoga studio at like X set time, like maybe like some random stuff happens and you can't do that, and then like what do you do then? But then maybe you can meet your friends like easily through online, and you just meet at like this place, and then you do like a session together. So um I think there's so much opportunity in Web 3, and it's like a matter of kind of like, yeah, you have to design stuff, you have to like do product, but you also have to do marketing and brand development, I think, to get the word out there. So it's like a bit of both, is how I see it.
Yes, what a great point you made there, Super Nina. That commerce side is like we're barely scratching the surface on that, but there's so much potential. I have a virtual store in here as well, and I say that same thing. It's like 24/7, right? Because it's like you can go in there, see what's new, get a coupon, click the link, order stuff. And it just makes it a one-stop shop in a sense. And I think as more businesses start to see how they can do that, especially as these platforms are evolving right now. Even spatial has like super gamified things where you can really make that an experience for your consumers that make them not even want to have to, do that to be able to really experience your services, but almost have to. And once we start seeing more businesses make that you have to go through the metaverse in order to really experience it, that's where we'll really start to see a lot of businesses get creative as well, because I think that's where a lot of us, like you said, excel, where it's like get to create, and we all create these new things with the same tools, and that's a magical experience. So Thank you for that. I definitely appreciate that, and I agree with you 100%. And then Zarina, what pushed you to come into from Web 2 to Web 3?
I think it's a combination of what's been said already, especially the part about e-commerce. For me, I'm an artist and also a bit of an entrepreneur. And so once I started realizing, the potential of these spaces, that's what really what made me think I can have poetry nights at my own cafe, which, and also stay home while I'm doing it. Or, I can build a space for other writers to just come and chill and show their screens and show their progress and, collaborate on writing. But, one of the biggest appeals of it is that I can collaborate with people from all over the world. And I think that's been a big like lifetime, come lifetime and enjoy an event together. Like we really know each other. And so that to me, the community aspect of it, being able to, create a community and also at the same time, at my business side, drive my art and just my own, social networks. It's been really, I think that's just a really big appeal for me. As far as interoperability, I do think that's another reason I really like Upland. I'm not going to try to like tout them too much, but they are saying they're going to be the super app where they're the founder of Upland actually founded the OMA 3 Alliance, which is trying to go ahead and bring all these people to work towards making things interoperable, where you can bring your assets from different platforms into the other and also link to each other. And right now, currently, Upland has finally implemented where they have these dev shops, which there's one person, his name's Elijah Judah in Upland, who actually has the first one that links to Spatial. So right in Upland, you can click on a purple dot and link to his Spatial. So I think that's a great move for Upland towards interoperability. So now we can link from Upland to other spaces in the metaverse. But basically the idea of just like, you can drive commerce, you can open up your own stores. I think the ability to build your own store, like a real virtual space, is way better than just having an online website. I think as far as engaging your customers and having a video play when they enter, it's actually an avatar speaking to them, those kind of things. I think that's great. Horizon World has some great aspects for building, and I can't wait for more people to be able to go there, because for me it's easier to build in Horizon World. Scripting is a little bit much, but I don't think it's any hard. I think it's easier than learning in Unity. As far as Spatial offering that ability to kind of incorporate Unity, I think that's a really big game changer, because games are games are a lot of things that draw people, I think, to the metaverse. What are the metaverse play to earn games, or just things like that. And so I think now the ability for people to make their spaces here also gamified is it's a huge game changer. It's good. It offers a lot of potential for those people who actually know how to design games that way. Like I frequent a place here in Spatial that's the Squid Game. If you saw this show on Netflix, Squid Game, they made a game of jumping across the glass to make sure you don't fall, like you might fall through. And I thought that's so entertaining, and it's free and fun. So you just get your friends to go over and have a fun game of Squid Game if you feel like it, for free in the metaverse. So yeah, I think just being in 3D, it's more immersive, and the immersive experience is it's just phenomenal. And for me, I'm also a little bit of an introvert, and people also wouldn't agree that I was an introvert, but I prefer to stay in my room and by myself on the internet, basically. But yeah, so I think it's just fun to be social from your own home, but feel like you're still around people.
Blue, I am totally aligned with you on that. Oh, one, I love the Squid Game here in Spatial as well. I always tell people, like, go play it. It's so fun. Even if you didn't watch it, you're going to have a good time trying to play it. And it's really great to hear how far Upland has come with being able to really push forward that interoperability. So I definitely going to have to go remember my login, check out my properties. I'm sure I done collected a good amount of rent now. So you're going to have to show me all the great new things that Upland is coming out with. And last thing I wanted to touch on that you mentioned was that gaming sector. And again, playing the games here if you guys know, this whole Raw Fest, we have events every day this week. And just like Women in the Metaverse, we do this every Monday. This was just like one that we really wanted to bring a bunch of women here to the platform to really spotlight and dive in. We also have game night every Thursday where we play different games in the metaverse or other metaverse games. And so this Thursday we'll be playing some of the creators here called the High Creators. They're having a free mint. And on Thursday, we'll be playing two of their games here in the metaverse. And then if you come and play, then you'll get a free NFT that's also an avatar. So very exciting. I think everything that you mentioned is a great point. And everybody listening, you hear all the things that's happening and how the metaverse is even transitioning, over time. So just get in here. Don't wait because you're just going to be adding more that you have to figure out. And that we're all learning along the way. So thank you for sharing all of that there, Zarina. That was great. PressBe, I would love to just ask, was there anything else that pushed you to go from Web 2 to really in this Web 3 space?
I know it. Such great answers. I really have to piggyback on what everyone has said. The commerce aspect of it really is crucial. And that's not to say, you have to have a business in the metaverse, but it's a really great game changer for entrepreneurs and creators like myself, especially during COVID. It was a really interesting time period where, like everyone said, we're in the house, you can't really leave. And I myself, I'm definitely very introverted. So it's been interesting seeing how technology has allowed us to remain at home, but still enabled us to stay connected to people. And I personally have an arts and crafts business. And it's cool because, again, commerce, starting with Shopify, the Shopify app, and it allowed us to go from, or allowed us to remove brick and mortar. So you don't have the limitations, the physical limitations anymore. So you can set up a website, allow users to engage with your content, your products online. And now you have the metaverse where you can take that experience and make it even more immersive. Um, and like um, like that was already mentioned, Horizon Worlds. I love the platform. I love building in Horizons, but it sucks that your assets don't belong to you. Whatever you create, it stays in Horizon Worlds, and you don't really own that. So I really love spatial. Um, I love the fact that with spatial, you can build your assets, especially if you're using Unity, and you can save your file. And then even further, you can save it as an NFT. So I find that aspect of it very interesting, and I'm really excited about learning about that further.
Yes, those digital assets, man. That was such a great word to drop right there. Those digital assets, they are something that we all need to start taking serious, right? And accumulating and understanding how to build or earn or just how important they are, right? From digital real estate and the metaverse and NFTs and so much more. I see Zarina comments that I'm excited to hear that you can save your Unity files as NFTs. Yeah, exactly. Being able to use the files and really empower yourself with blockchain and smart contracts and NFTs is going to be great. So, did anybody else have anything they wanted to piggyback off or add before we move into our next question here?
Yeah, I think they started beta testing NFTs over at Horizons, but only Meta Horizons, but only a few people have gotten access to that. So they are looking to expand that over there. I know they were supposed to be. So yeah.
I saw that
Yeah.
an article a few days ago. I saw that, so that would be interesting to see how Horizon does it, especially with their rollout. Because, like you said, they allow these features to a limited amount of people, and then the rest of us is left wondering, how do we get a piece of the pie? So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's just an example of being so big and starting so big, but that you miss the details. I think that's what kind of happened there. So now they're kind of working backwards to kind of add in the things that people really value in a metaverse. You value your stuff, and you value the things that you build and stuff like that. So They're working backwards, I think.
I agree.
I also wanted to comment on that. Like the whole idea of being able to bring our assets to other places, I think is something totally necessary. But I also think it's a great opportunity for all of us builders because once, like if you've built a cafe, maybe you can make your cafe an NFT, and someone who's purchased that then gets that structure file or whatever to bring to a certain metaverse of their own to set up that cafe. So being able to use our assets in other realms and own them and transfer them, I think is something necessary. But I do see that that's where a lot of the metaverses are moving towards. Um, so even in Upland, when you build something, for example, if I built like a little fountain for someone's house, if I built that in Upland, I could sell it. Now they're offering royalties. So that's nice. So I can get royalties from it if I manufacture it, but not as the actual build, like not actually the artist. So the artist basically has to work with someone or build their own factory, which is possible, and open up their own little factory. What is it? Like it's a factory structure shop or ornament shop, whatever the case is. This the part that's bothersome is that the artist right now, if you don't build that factory yourself, then you basically kind of have to trust the manufacturer to give you a cut of anything. But I do still like the offering of royalties. But I want my stuff to be able to go outside of Upland and use elsewhere. And so they're working right now on having things be able to be traded like over Ethereum, which I think is great. But I just think that's really what the metaverse, like any metaverse has that's out there, really has to allow creators to basically own their assets to leverage those.
Yes. Woo, see, this is why I love women in metaverse. That iron sharpening back to back right there, where it's like I seen that, I experienced that from my perspective. I not being on Horizon, I seen it when it came to Instagram, and it was like, oh, you get to add your NFTs on Instagram because Facebook is trying NFTs. But then I was like, I don't know if I want to give Instagram my wallet information though, and I think that was like the general consensus, and so it didn't go too far, but I think again, it just comes with time and understanding what exactly you're giving and getting, and that transparency evolving over time. So we'll definitely be talking about that and how these platforms are continuing to evolve because we are here in the metaverse, and I don't know about y'all, but I don't plan on leaving the metaverse anytime soon. So we're here to build and be those builders that are helping the metaverses evolve with our feedback and being here and being present. And that is why representation matters so much, because if we weren't in here, then we wouldn't be building for something that we want to see. We would just be seeing what others are building and then could only complain about it or, wish for something else. But in this space, you can do more than just wish and hope. You can go create and build and get with others that have resources that can really help you get that done. So my next question for you all, and I won't go through the line because you all can just whoever wants to speak, will go through that for the next few questions. Is do you believe being a woman in the space has any advantage or disadvantage on your work that you've seen so far? So with that, did anybody want to jump on that question?
I think we have I think within the space, inside of the metaverse, we have an advantage. Um, of course, out in the real world, we're disadvantaged. Quite cool, especially when it comes to who's investing in who, and who's, funding who. But I think that being inside and seeing how it can apply to real world living, families, kids, moms, even dads, I think that accounts for something that gives us a perspective that people want to listen to. You know what I mean? And also the trust, because nowadays people are not trusting the Silicon Valley geeks, you know? They're not trusting certain elements. So it's gonna, in order to build the trust for them to say that this is not gonna be something scary, creepy, and take over your life, they're gonna need to see women actually in here representing in the way that we do.
I agree.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
Mhm.
no, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say I agree. I think well, I think a lot of the reason that women have it maybe an advantage now is that typically when you enter like a lot of these games, people assume you're male, and then when they find out you're not, it's like almost like, oh look, a girl. So I think it's actually nice for men to actually have women in the metaverse too. Like they don't want to just be surrounded by a bunch of guys, and then when they see that women are into the same things that they are, it bridges like a connection there. And I think they were just, I feel like personally, I feel like I get a lot like I'm respected in the metaverse because I'm a girl, because they say, "Oh, you can do that, and you're and you're a woman." So I think there's a little bit of like admiration for the fact that I am in this space. And so I do I think it's our time to shine right now because not everyone even knows about the metaverse. It's our time to really, be at the forefront making it happen before all the boys really do rush in and try to just take over completely. We are like we have our moment to really like bring women in here and say, here's what we're doing and this is what we offer, but also just the things we naturally do, like, parenting, like that was mentioned, and things like that. We know, like, oh, we can build mommy hub or daddy hub for dads to come chill while they're like just sitting at the car waiting for their oil to be changed. They can be chilling in daddyverse or whatever. But the idea is like, I think we have a great insight into a lot of different areas that maybe men wouldn't consider. I think, not to like stereotype men, but I think a lot of men in the metaverse seem to be focused on gaming and not necessarily fashion all the time, and not necessarily like products for people in the real world that they may need and that they could buy in the metaverse. So I don't know. I think it's a great time for us if we can just get women here and exploring it and knowing that it exists. One other thing I forgot to mention that I put a little link in the chat was like hubs, because that's, I also like, I'm an educator. So for me, as a, as a, as a female teacher also, I think it's a great place for like using hubs. Like, if you, I'm not sure if you guys know about hubs, but hubs like a more private space metaverse. I was able to create like a little space for just like teaching my students, and I think showing them like, oh look, it's me, it's like I'm also a gamer, so I'm like making my hub a little bit like where we play fun games, and you can see like teachers like games too, and even women like games too. So it's allowed me to like be able to connect a way, like in a different way, like show kids education, but also, teachers have fun too. So yeah, anyways, I think right now women are probably sought after in so some communities, like to be more involved because they want our presence.
I completely agree with you ladies on that. I know some people, you got to pay attention to Agenda 2030. They want the women in the forefront. And I think when you think about like the long run and the big grand scheme of things and what everybody's pushing, and you align what you've got going on with the bigger mission, that's how you can really set yourself up for success. And when women realize that and like they can step up to really make that impact, like you said, the people seeing us be that forefront offers that security. Like, okay, there are women in here that are adding this, that even like you said, Zarina, make it more at home, right? Like, we think about these things that others aren't thinking. Or, and also the really cool thing about it that you've also mentioned a few times is being able to be in these spaces but not actually have to be in there physically, right? So you don't have to worry about being sexualized in these meetings or anything like that. Or like right now I have my locks and I can let them grow as long as I want, and I don't have to worry about it being professional or not professional if I'm meeting in the metaverse. And so being able to see that, I see, being an advantage. I agree with you all because we have this new way to be able to connect as women and be looked at as this, powerful person. Like, hey, there's a girl who's willing to learn and who has this great idea. And you do find, other almost like allies and men that want to help you achieve everything that you're trying to, and educate you and give you those resources and support when they can. So definitely think that was a great point. Was there anything else anybody wanted to add on that question there?
I think I'm
Awesome.
super excited to see where things go. I mean, it's always kind of been a male dominated like industry in tech. So Um, like I want to kind of like I'm super excited to see what happens, and I think that like different people have different skill sets, and when we do stuff together, it kind of like no one can do stuff alone. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you're right. Being here fosters community. I definitely noticed that. You definitely have the urge, to connect with other people, build things, do things, and you have an opportunity to do that here, which may be different out there in the world. And even some of us have, like challenges with doing that. I mean, again, I know we talked about the introvert. Some of us are neurodivergent, autistic, stuff like that. So, we have issues connecting with people, but this definitely makes that easier for us, I guess you could say.
It does. It provides a means, right? A place for us to be able to do that. Where I was able to send everybody a link and say, hey, if you want to come be a part of Convo, no matter where you at in the world, no matter what time it is, click on this link and we're all going to be in the same place having this kind of conversation and can stream it and again, replay it and have this content that will last for years. I think, especially when we think about blockchain, we're making history, we're writing this new narrative, we're creating the next story and the next chapter in history, and we're all doing that together. So it is an exciting time, and I think it is great that we all kind of take that serious and are actively a part of building that and trying to put our imprint into the present as much as we can, and we all do that in such a great way that I'm happy to have you guys here. So my next question would be, I know we just talked about the advantages or disadvantages of being a woman. So I would ask now, because I know one of the things that I used to always get when I would talk about like, oh, women in the metaverse, because we've been doing this for Twitter spaces and a little bit of different ways that we've been having this. And it's people have always said like, well, women, they don't even want to hear about it, right? They always have this like mindset that, oh, as soon as you say NFT, oh, the women will be like, oh, well, that's too much and I don't want to hear about it. And I've always, I feel like, been trying to debunk that, like, no, women want to be in here. And that's why, again, we have this space where it's like open to say, hey, any women that's around that wants to be in here, we do have space for women to come and do just that. So, my question for you all would be, what is one way that you think we can improve education and mentorship opportunities for women in the metaverse and crypto space? Because again, I think women do want to be in here, and I think they are looking to come in here and educate. But maybe it's just a misconception that there aren't others that are already here willing to give that information. So, what is something that we can do as we are all in here to improve that stereotype so that it does look like it's an open community for women to come into?
Well, I think exactly what you're doing here, like hosting events. Hosting events is probably the biggest thing that you can do to because you can host any kind of event and you can send out a call. It could be a women's or it could be this or it could be that, but you can send out a call to people to a call to action for people just to show up. So I think events is a great icebreaker. You know what I mean? And it releases the pressure of kind of coming in here and you get to see it because I mean, even the concept of hosting events, someone had hosted an event here in Spatial. I think it's been about maybe a year and a half ago or whatever. That was my first event in Spatial, and I was invited in, and I was like, "Oh, okay." You know what I mean? We hosting events in Spatial. Okay, let's host events in Spatial. And that opened me up to considering to do the same thing. And then I'm pretty sure other people are going to attend the events that we host, and they're going to host events. So I think that's a great way to open that door to getting people to get educated and into the space.
Yeah, great point. I remember seeing yours and I was so mad because I seen it like the day before what's happening, and I'm like, curse this new Twitter algorithm. I swear I seen like every tweet, and then all of a sudden you're in spatial, and I'm like, what? You're in spatial? I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it. But like you said, just being here, it does, right? Because then I was like, oh, I knew I could get her over here in spatial, and it plants that seed for the
Yep.
next to know that, hey, well, let me go see what's going on over there and give it a try now.
Yep. Yep.
Awesome. Did anybody else have any other ways that they are think that we can improve educating other women and mentoring them in a sense? I know Zarina has her guide that is like a guide to get you into the metaverse in a sense. So did you maybe want to add anything about how you've been using that to educate others, and if you've noticed that it has built a community around that of women in specific that have kind of gravitated towards you?
Sorry, I got out of my chair by accident. So, um, I don't know if I've realized if I've really seen an uptick in women. Because honestly, I'm not sure how many viewers I actually get, but it seems like the people who comment the most are actually men, and I'm not sure if that's just because they know me from Upland or, um, but yeah, no, I have not. I haven't felt that I've really reached women as well as I would like to actually. And I think part of it is because if they don't know what I'm talking about already, then they may not engage. So what I want to do is to actually start doing a more targeted approach to like why women should get in the metaverse, like because also like to go back to Upland, this women's fashion NFT fashion brand just came into Upland, so like they can sell their wearables for our real player me avatars, and so they're like a women based company or a women owned company and doing fashion NFTs, and now they're trying to market to their brand to bring them into Upland. So it's kind of interesting, like the collaboration between the two, but it seems like fashion might be another way to reach out to women. Like I just that's the thing is that like going back to like what's going to bring people to the metaverse, it might seem silly to some people, like why would I want to do that? And so I keep trying to think of like events to hold, like this event. I think this is like a great event. Having game night I think is a great event. So I've been thinking of ways to basically bring people into the space that will be entertaining and a way like give them a meaningful way to engage without thinking about blockchain, without thinking about crypto, just thinking about the spaces in general and how fun they can be. And so I think next is maybe to actually do something geared towards women, like a helpful tutorial that would be like that would women would actually want to look at besides caring about games or whatever, like something that would be like, I don't know, informative that would really draw them out. I do actually so I'm actually a licensed lawyer. I work full time as a teacher, but I was thinking about doing something like family law related, like maybe a divorce, how to do your own divorce like tutorial in the metaverse, because then maybe people would come in because women, not all women, but some women really can't afford to fight for their children when they go through a divorce. And it might be really important to them to learn how to do so. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about doing, but I just have to get the time. When summer break hits, I'll have more time to invest in my other instruction.
Wow, I love that. I love that and how you thought of like the different ways that you can help women, or like you said, find ways to really get them in here. We always think like what of nostalgia in a way, like what's gonna really hit home for people. So we got like the Valon. Some people feel like, back in the day when they used to go to the hair salon or eggs or crocheting, and again, just trying to get different pioneers in here to show these examples to others that you can use these spaces to do just that. And then once people start realizing that, I think we'll start seeing more and more people using these spaces and connecting for just that. So I'm excited. I think that would definitely help, especially if you have something like law education, and just are able to host a space like that. That's great. And so, was there anything else anybody wanted to add on that note on how they feel we can improve education here in the space? And shout out to Lilyfield. I did see that she said she was here for Blue today, so that's great. I also seen Cheeks was here in support of Press BVR. That was really great. And I'm happy to see everybody supporting each other. This was a really great session. I do have, if nobody else wanted to add on that one, two more questions. And these are our viewer questions. Shout out to Tanisha James, because I'm serious. I was like reading my comments, because just like Blue said, it's not that we get a bunch of views on one, but we get a few views on each one. So they all add up. But last week, when we were in Women in the Metaverse, I recorded a quick 8-minute video and was like, if anybody's listening, we're having a panel next week. Drop your questions. And she was listening and she dropped her questions. And it just goes to show we are planting those seeds, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening too. So keep planting them, even when you don't know who's listening or if they're going to be listening years from now. So these two questions will kick off our Q&A section here. She says, number one, what was the most challenging in your journey so far? So we'll go back through all of the ladies, starting with Tavana, and then we'll go through everybody from there. So, Miss Tavana, what would you say has been the most challenging for you in your journey so far?
Woo! Well, being in crypto and building a blockchain and that we launched in 2017, I think the most challenging part of all of this is building and riding the wave of volatility of everything. Because 1 minute crypto is in, the next minute is out. 1 minute is in, next minute is out. And while everything is volatile, you got to remain consistent. So it's like you have your shame moment and then you have your, oh, you're cool again moment. You know what I mean? And then you have your, oh my God, how dare you? What are you doing? Like, are you doing this crypto thing? All these scams and all this other. I thought it was a scam. All of that. So all of the up and down, the in and outs and stuff like that, I think that has been very challenging. Definitely the financial aspect of it because I am a founder. I've invested not only my time and development skills, but also my money and stuff like that. And, women of color, Black women get less than 1% of funding all overall. So you can imagine, I look around at my male counterparts and other people who built blockchains and organizations that built blockchains, and they've raised millions of dollars. And I've done a lot with the little bit of money that I've had. And so, but again, I still, I'm still, I guess you could say, the underdog in the race. So having to be the underdog on both sides, whether the woman of color, even the geek in whatever, like all of these different underdogs all rolled up in one. I guess that has been a difficult challenge for me, but I just know that it's all about endurance. It's all about staying in the game, and it's all about continuing to build no matter what. And my motto is build and they'll come. And I know y'all in the metaverse have the same motto. When you're building in the metaverse, build it and they'll come.
That was a good one right there. I'll ask the second question on that note thing, because I think that would be a good way for everybody to kind of cap off their answer there, because that was definitely a great way to put it out there with what's challenging. And so I would say, the next question that Tanisha asks is, well, what motivates you to keep pushing?
Yeah, like for me, I hear what Tanisha is saying, like 100%. It's like the sentiments are like I'm sure many people feel that way. Like for me, what's top of mind is always like the purpose. Like why am I doing this? And like I guess like many of the challenges like is like how to get there as fast as I can, or like in the shortest period of time with the least amount of money or whatever. Um, so that's that's always like been like a thing for me, whether it's like Web 3, Web 2, Web 1, or whatever. But yeah, like it always like at the end of the day, it's about purpose. Like, why are you doing this? Like, is it for like you want to build like the most like amazing like place for people to meditate, or like it's like for like people to have an opportunity to um experience like fashion in a different way. Like I think that's like the driving force. And obviously like with any goal like that's like kind of like ambitious, there's gonna be like challenges. So um yeah, that's that's kind of my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I love that, Super Nina. And Blue, what about yourself? What has been one of the most challenging things for you in your journey so far?
I agree with Super Nina that for me, the most challenging part has been keeping up the idea of purpose. Like, I do come back to that questioning all the time. Like, why am I doing this? Because it is a lot of time and effort for free right now for me. Like, I'm doing it for free. You know what I mean? I'm not making any money out of it. So it's kind of like I'll come back to like, this is a lot of time to be investing. Like, every day I stream a video. Every day I look up prices for people in Upland. And then it's like, why am I doing this? And is this silly? Like, am I wasting my time? Am I playing on the internet for no reason? That kind of questioning. That's the challenge, is facing those kind of questions. But then actually what keeps me going is the community that I'm involved in. So the people in the Upland community themselves like really keep me going and driving me like to like it matters, because it matters to me because of them, but also because I feel like with the community that I'm involved in, they keep the vision alive too. Like, they remind me like, this is really a good opportunity. Like, this is like something that people don't understand is really going to be the future, and we just have to, like, I think Tavonia said, like, ride that wave. So, being able to have people there, a community who supports me and says, keep doing what you do, like, even those few viewers, because every now and then I'm like, I'm gonna stop doing these videos, like, this is too time consuming. But then I'll have a viewer be like, don't stop doing what you're doing, and thank you for all that you do. And that really motivates me to keep going.
Yes, that's how I found you. So, it's a law. I'm a Muslim as well, so I believe, Allah does what Allah does, and we just do our part, and we all come together, and it's amazing. So, um, Pressbe, I would love to ask as well, what has been the most challenging for you in your journey so far?
Let's see. I know definitely balancing time, because like Blue said, a build that takes time. All these aspects take time: learning the programs, creating the piece, creating the flyers, promoting it. It and at times it just gets difficult balancing my everyday life, making sure I'm still connecting with my friends and taking care of myself. So that that's definitely, that has been very challenging at times. I won't lie, especially in terms of mental health, especially when this is the metaverse. It's exciting. We get to do things we've never done before. So it's easy to kind of get ambitious and overdo it and overwork yourself. So really just learning how to take moments of pause and just reflect and rebalance.
Oh, you guys all dropped really great gems. Appreciate you for sharing and letting us know that, because we want to make everything seem awesome so that we get people to come in here, but then we have to have those transparent moments to let people know you are going to still be learning. It does take time to learn even how to learn and how to balance it, and but offering these kind of conversations let people know that you will find that balance and you will figure it out. So thank each of you for sharing what has been most challenging for you so far. The second question that Tanisha asked was, what motivates you to keep going? So I won't ask everybody to go through it again, but did anybody want to share anything that motivates you to keep going when the going is getting a little tougher than usual, and you're thinking like, man, this is a lot?
What motivates me is this is my therapy. Just being creative, having an outlet to create and build, like, it's so therapeutic for me. Um, it's a little different from when I'm coding or blockchain stuff and all of that. You definitely need more motivation outside of the coding development side, but this is more artistic to me. It's more artistic expression. Like, sometimes I'll just put on my headset and I'll go inside, whether it's spatial or go inside Meta or Horizons or whatever, and I'll just build something that I just thought of an idea that I wanted to build, and it's so therapeutic. So that in and itself is motivating for me. The fact that I just love to do it, that is it's my passion, you know. And I was like, wow, I'm glad I like to do this because I love to do this because I'll just build, 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 and I have some worlds I haven't even launched yet, you know, that I'm building in Meta. And they have been the most therapeutic things. Like I just love to do it. It's so awesome.
Yes, that's such a great point. I think it's because I was just because we've been primed. I think about my Sims days and like how that was like what really kind of got me into the mood of being able to like build worlds and these avatars' lives for hours. Because sometimes, like you said, it's great to just build a house for you to go and put all your favorite pictures in and interior decorate and rearrange and really create this beautiful thing that you get to feel like, oh, I did that, and it is therapeutic, and I think that's a beautiful thing for you to be able to use the tools that we're learning that can also help you and also be a way to be like therapy in a sense. So really great point on that. Did anybody else have anything else that motivates them when the going is getting tough?
Yeah, like I think sometimes with talking to friends in the space, as well as people maybe outside the space, and trying to like assess like what are your priorities, and um like it kind of helps to talk to someone, I think, regardless of who it is. Obviously understanding where they're coming from, and yeah, like sometimes like when I'm in my own thoughts a little too much, like it kind of clouds like the overall picture. So I kind of like to like talk to multiple people and see like is there something I'm missing or not missing, and then like go from there, because you don't know what you don't know. Like that's one of my like biggest mantras. You don't know what you don't know.
That's a good one right there. You don't know what you don't know. And sometimes when you talk to your friends who have that outside perspective, it's just like they get it, especially when they're your friends and they get you. It's therapeutic as well to have that community that gets it with you. Even if it's just one person or two people, it doesn't have to be a lot of people that you can go to, but just finding that one in the space that gets it a little bit is enough, and it's definitely helpful. So thank you for sharing that, Super Nina. Did anybody else have anything they wanted to add about what motivates them? Otherwise, we'll open up the floor for Q&A from anybody in the audience. Either share anything that they have experienced from being a woman in the metaverse, or ask any of our panelists as well any further questions that you would like to hear from them. And I haven't heard any of our panelists step in, so I would love to open up the floor. I know Lady Q had a few questions. So if you did, oh, I didn't put my mic up in the front, but if you did anybody have any questions that they wanted to actually ask the panelists or speak on today?
I
Hello,
do.
can everybody hear me?
Oh, good, good, good.
Hello?
Sure.
Yes.
We'll go with
Oh, you can
Lady
hear me?
Q and Tinks. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, great. This is my first time. I'm a new versity. I just made that up. Um, I was invited by someone on stereo, and I happened to just find my way in because I've never accessed it before. But this is
Good
awesome that
job.
you all are having. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
um, this is awesome that I found you all here tonight because I thank you, thank you, thank you. And I mentioned it some time ago that I wanted to get into the metaverse, and the young lady, Miss Thomas, um, she sent me a link, and I didn't even know it's been there since April 1st. But I just happened to tap it tonight, and so all of the information that I'm hearing, of course, it's new. A lot of it is like um, not over my head, but it's something I haven't tapped into fully yet. But
I'm an educator as well, and just to hear the young lady talking about what she does and what she would like to do, I'm like, So I have lots of questions, but I'm not going to ask them all tonight. I'm just, taking everything in because this is a platform that I can see that just as everything else evolves, and a lot of people, I heard somebody ask the question or kind of comment earlier, how can we get more women in? A lot, and I don't know what the age group or culture here is. I don't know what the culture is here, but a lot of people, period, whether it be male or female, but a lot of people are not as computer savvy as they could be because they don't take the time to learn new things. And the way that I'll say we, because that was the question, getting more people in it, getting more women involved is people my age. I'm a Gen X. And so with my culture and older, and there's some underneath my age bracket that are just afraid. They don't, I don't know, they just won't do, oh, I don't know that stuff. It's not stuff. It's knowledge. If you take the time to learn something new, that way you're not left behind. You learn it as it's going, and then you can upgrade later on. But it's very important for us to be. I mean, we're involved in a lot of things, but when it comes to gaming, like somebody said earlier, they use people. Some people contribute that to like it's a male thing, But there are women scientists, there are women biologists and all these other, careers. Why not tech? We do have some women that work in tech, bioengineers and things like that. So we're in here. We just have to take the time to educate ourselves. And didn't mean to take up all this time, but anyway, it's really good stuff that y'all talking about. And I'm excited because I want to bring what I do to the metaverse when it's that time because I have so many. I'm working on my online platform now to bring because I was inside the classroom for years, and I said, okay, I came out of the classroom, and now I'm doing the online building, taking what I did in the classroom or at workshops or conferences, whatever, taking all of that and putting it into an online platform. But in doing that, my next step is metaverse. It has to be that way because that's where it's going to. It's so much happening in the world where, I think that we can build a whole community. People can actually go to work in the metaverse. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Go to work in the metaverse and still get paid to handle, I mean, actual communities where, so much is happening in the real world that's not safe. In the metaverse, I'm thinking that it'll evolve to where people can actually go to work and do what they need to do in the metaverse, just like they would go face to face. That's just my take.
Actually,
Yeah,
thank you for what you said. I just want to just jump in and tell you that I'm really happy that you spoke. I'm not sure I don't know what Gen X means, but I do
born
know
in the 70s.
that.
I was
Oh,
born in
okay,
Me
wow.
71.
too.
Oh
I'm
my
Gen
gosh.
X over here too.
I'm Jeanette. Hey, hey.
Oh
Hey,
wow.
I'll
hey.
be
Okay.
52 next month and look like I'm 35. But anyway,
I
Oh yeah.
know.
Look at you. So yeah, because
yes,
I was
ma'am.
thinking like that whole idea of getting people who are like I guess Gen X who to get them to try the app or to try these apps. Like how do we, how did you end up actually trying it? I think that's like really pivotal for us is to figure
Yes,
out how to get people who don't know how to use who say they're not tech savvy and they just they just shut down. Even I got
yes,
my mom into my metaverse and she was like, I don't know what to do and how do I walk around, and I was like, I'm over here, like so it's
right.
like there's definitely a learning curve, but I think especially for like the older generation, like I don't say older but people any age group, but especially people who
More
don't need,
seasoned.
so like as they get older they stop going out. I think it's a great way for them to stay engaged with socializing.
Hmm.
Like as my
Hmm.
mom ages, I would love to see her actually participate in a metaverse. So if she ever decides she doesn't want to start going out, at least she can participate in some community where she's just not home alone, stagnant, just aging. But I also, one thing about the education part is what, as educators, there's so much for us to be able to do in the metaverse. Even right now, back in Upland, there's a theater in Elijah Judith's like little spatial. He's built like basically a Upland University. And so if you want to learn about Blender, you can go into spatial and there's already like YouTube videos already like linked. So you can sit and just educate yourself in like what looks like a university like room, a university classroom. And that's pretty cool. So for me as a teacher, I'm like, okay, I wonder if my kids would, if I left my lesson playing in a really cool environment, would they like go study together and watch my video of me teaching? Because that's what I think will be great. So yeah, anyways, great comments from you. Thank you for talking.
Yes, ma'am. And can I add to what you were saying, or somebody else waiting?
Yeah, please feel free to add to what you were saying there, and then we'll get to Tink's question after that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go for
Oh,
it.
no, it was okay because I was
So,
gonna.
This is great. Go for it.
I'm a conversationalist, as you all can probably gather by now. But you were talking about the way that I got connected to it. So, I my kids call me a geek and a nerd because I practice mathematics in my spare time, just learning new things. I practice. Um,
Oh, oh no. Maybe she'll be back.
Oh no, we lost her. Okay, well, no worries. I know you guys were talking, and I was like, oh yes, yeah. And I was over here. I played the Accenture video about the metaverse. I'm like, she's again understanding the big grand plan and being able to align yourself with that is such a beautiful thing. And that's why we're all here because we see it. It does make sense, and it's just about helping others see it and be able to do it. So Tink's Playground, I know that you had a question as well, so I would love for you to share.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask Blue a question, but she just disappeared. Um,
Oh,
Tavonia, maybe you can help me with this question. I have some NFTs on crypto.com. I have a really hard time getting them to move. Like I'm not really sure how to sell them, and I'm wondering if you have another platform. Maybe you're not the right person. I don't know. Whoever has a
Yeah, you
good
can.
idea. Yeah,
Well, if you're
go for
trying
it.
to move them, there's a couple of ways. You could send them. You could send them to another location that you're trying to move it. So if you have it on crypto.com, I wouldn't keep crypto.com as these are considered to be like exchanges. So you don't want to keep your stuff on an exchange. You have MetaMask. So is
I
it in
do,
your
but
MetaMask wallet?
I have one, and I had some things on OpenSea, but I just can't afford the gas prices, and the money
Well, a
I had
lot
in
of
there
them
just disappeared. You know.
Oh, well, a lot of what they do is they have what's called lazy minting. So you don't
Uh
have
huh.
to pay anything if you're trying to sell it until it gets
Okay.
sold. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So all you have to
Mhm.
do is if it's on OpenSea, you can list it on OpenSea. You could just go up to the menu and click that you want to list it or sell it or create a collection. You can do that. It's not going to charge you to do that.
Okay.
You go ahead and list it
And then
and
I can move it over from crypto.com
yeah, you can
to
also move
OpenSea.
it. Now, if you're gonna move it to another wallet, then there's gonna be some gas fees to do it, but it should be pretty minimal
Mhm.
to send it to OpenSea or send it to your wallet. Also, sometimes if you have it like sitting in a wallet like MetaMask, you can import that wallet address to another wallet because those are more portable. You can
Mhm.
do that. So there are a number of ways that a lot of times we when we don't know as much, we tend to spend more money
Right.
than
That's what I
we
feel
then
like happened.
yeah. But there are nowadays you don't really have to spend too much money up front to sell an NFT or list an NFT anywhere.
Okay. Do you have a platform that you like better that's really a lot easier? Because I have people that are interested, but they have no idea even how to set up a wallet. And that's one reason I went over to crypto.com, because it was so easy for people to buy
Right.
something,
Well,
you
honestly,
know.
they have a lot of NFT launch pads if you plan on launching a whole project, but to me, they're really kind of complicated,
Mm-hmm.
actually. The NFT launch pads to me are way
Mm-hmm.
more complicated than just listing it on OpenSea. Um,
Uh-huh.
those launch pads are for like when you have a whole big project and you want to schedule it, you want to do a drop, you want to do all of these marketing kind of related things. Those are for big projects. But if you only have like individual NFTs, it's probably best to just go to like OpenSea or Rarible or whatever and just list that one or two or whatever. But if
Okay.
you do have a project, then that the first thing, if you want to take it like a step bigger, then you want to join other NFT projects so that you can see the process and see how it goes. Typically, when you join a
Oh,
project,
yeah.
you learn from the inside out exactly everything they do. And people are usually
Oh,
pretty
okay.
open with sharing of how they're doing something, and you can meet other
Yes.
people who can help you. So that's why it's really important to join communities and join NFT communities and stuff like that so that you could get people to help you.
Right. How would one go about finding a project that they could
Well,
join?
you can go on Twitter, and because you're a woman, you definitely want to follow a lot of the women in NFT, women in blockchain, because that's where you're gonna get the less scammers. I'm not just gonna be
Okay.
totally honest.
Yeah.
You can go to some of the established women projects that are there, and you'll know that they're established because they're very engaged, they're very friendly, they're very, they're known in real life and on Twitter. There's some
Mhm.
projects like this. Wow. There's a couple. You can follow me with Tavonia Evans,
Okay.
and then I can put you to follow you onto some other projects. But those are great projects to get involved in because, like I said, I've very rarely, and not to say that there's not going to be women that are going to be quote unquote scammers. A lot of times, the when you find the scammers, they're usually associated with another project, but the actual women projects you won't really
Mhm.
find that. You usually pretty a little bit more safer than just out there in the general public.
Okay. Okay. That's great to know.
So follow
And
me. I'm Tavana
okay.
Evans on Twitter. And you
Okay.
can follow Roy Dial as well, because and she's got some projects I know that she follows. And
Yeah, I
if
don't
you
use Twitter
it,
very often, but I can get myself back into
it
it.
Twitter is the NFT verse. That is
I know
where
everyone tells me that. I'm like, I know
all the
it. I just
NFT
gotta.
people are. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's
Okay.
like that's a little push. That's the push for me. And
Okay.
thank you so much. That's awesome.
Welcome.
My second question for Blue was, how do you is Upland in a VR headset, or is it only on like computer or PC?
You can, hi, thank you for the question. So you can access Upland with your VR if you chose to, but you can
Oh,
also
good.
do it on your phone or just from the internet in general. So I've been into it. So one thing everyone in Upland, or not everyone, but a lot of us in Upland are like, oh, we're waiting for, to be able to walk around in our homes and things like that. And they'll say, oh, that's coming soon. So right now, Upland isn't itself like a 3D metaverse, like where you can go into your structures that you built. Like you can view your structure, like if you build a building, you'll see your building on your property or whatnot. But they're aiming towards being able to have, our Ready Player Me avatars be able to enter our spaces, just like how we are here, basically. So everything is like
Mhm.
moving in that direction. But so you just
Mhm.
have to have so basically you can use you can use your VR. It's just not going to be like exciting like you're walking around like you are right now. It'd just be like you be viewing the game basically.
Right. And have you been in the Infiniverse,
I
which is
have not been in
you know,
Infiniverse.
okay.
What is
I spent a lot of time there, and so I'm curious what other sort of digital real estate spaces are like, because I yeah, I started an artist district in the Infiniverse, so I do a lot of my work there. But I'm
Oh,
so
so that's really
curious.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
cool. So see, I was looking into other metaverses initially, like what else was out there, like as far as like land and things like that. And then I
Hmm.
think I just Upland is it starts off where if you start their metaverse, like they gave you tokens to start off and buy your own property for free at first. So my whole thing was play to earn, and it was free. So like so I was thinking, oh, I'd rather like not spend and learn about the metaverse here.
Yeah.
But I also like the whole idea of just the real world mapping is what really draws me to it because of my real world association. So like for me as an artist, I was like, okay, I want some properties on Abbot Kinney and Venice Beach. So that's what I think is really cool. So I'm waiting for, the opportunity to where people actually do like are able to like go to my Venice Beach art store and purchase my art, which would be really like cool. But you don't have to know about the blockchain when you do Upland. That's the other thing that's really maybe a bit easier for access for some
Yeah.
women is that you don't have to do a crypto wallet. You don't have to start any wallet. You just start the game, and it's on the EOS blockchain. So it's a little bit different than what other people might be used to as far as blockchain games. But I
Hmm.
still, I prefer it, I guess.
And I can access that with an Oculus.
Yes. But if
Okay,
you start
great.
Upland, start with a referral code. It doesn't have to be mine, but start with anybody's because you'll have benefits from starting with a referral that you wouldn't get otherwise.
Can I get a referral code from you?
You can. So on my
Okay,
YouTube
I would.
videos,
I
I
mean, I
have them
don't know
there.
anybody
Also, yeah,
else.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'll put it if it's okay. I'll put my referral link in the chat here.
Yeah,
But
I was going to
I
say
don't have
drop
to
it
do
in the
that.
chat. So anybody
Okay.
that's
All right.
looking for
Let me grab it.
up in, yeah. One of my
I'm
favorite
in
things
my
about
Oculus, so I don't know how I. I'm sorry, I just don't know how to access the chat within the Oculus.
oh yeah, the Oculus is a bit tricky. Did you get a ticket on Eventbrite?
Yeah, that's how I. No, actually, I just went into my homeroom, and because I've been in this space before, I just jumped right here.
Okay, well, I'm
Um,
gonna email all of the links to all the ticket holders on Eventbrite as well. So if you get a ticket on Eventbrite, I'll email it. But she
okay.
should drop it here as well, and I think it will still be here if you come back, or I'll put it in the Discord because I know I got you on Discord.
Yeah, I might just send you a personal note if I don't see
Yeah,
it.
and
How about
and
that?
I'll
Is that
make sure I
okay?
send it. But Blue, if you can drop your referral in the chat, I think that'd be great. One of my favorite things back in the day when I was playing Upland is being able to tell people like, yeah, you can cash out your property for real money. So do they still have that going on, Blue, where it's pretty easy to cash out? Oh, I see.
She's back.
Perfect. Blue, I was just saying one of my favorite things about Upland was telling people that you can cash out your property for a real cash fairly easy. So is it still like that?
I mean, it's probably not as easy as it was once because I think in the very beginning, everyone talks about how like they're cashing out every day. There's definitely a strategy to it. It is a play to earn game, so not everyone's gonna win if they don't play the correct way. But I do find there's certain strategies that I do think make it easy to pull out money if you care to go fast and flip your properties really fast. There's definitely ways to go ahead and earn right away. As new players, I think new players have an advantage if they start off with someone who's experienced to guide them because new players coming in can purchase properties that are called FSAs, kind of like an FHA in real life, but FSAs are like just like they're lower price than what regular the other players have to pay. So being able to purchase properties coming in less than sorry, my dog's barking, less than others, or they basically can sell when they get to sell for USD, they can sell those properties for less than what other people would probably be willing to sell for because they paid more. So new players have a little bit of an advantage, and if they just like take advantage of that strategy and come in and just get guidance, there's a lot of ways to earn, especially during a new city opening. I advise anyone actually who is going to start Upland to wait to buy anything until there's a new city. Because that's the best time for a new player to actually be able to like really take off. And there's all like every other month or a couple months there seems to be a city opening, and I think pretty soon here there should be another one coming up. So, but just yeah, don't just jump in and start buying for sure.
Yeah. How would you know when there's a new city coming?
So Upland announces it, but usually once if you're also on YouTube, and like a lot of us YouTubers will start, and on Instagram too, and their Twitter, they'll announce like, oh, like Las Vegas, like when Las Vegas came, it was like a really big deal. And also Upland is hosting in Las Vegas this summer in June Genesis Week, which is like a big like a big convention. in Las in Las Vegas. All the players come out, and it's going to be really fun. So if you guys happen to be in Vegas, that's another good time to like check it out. But it's like that's what I think is really cool also about Upland is how they build their community, like by having events in real life for people to meet up and discuss everything. So yeah, so basically there's like a lot of hype when there's a new city and everyone starts like saying, oh, this new city like it's coming, where are you going to buy, and what are you interested in, and what's going to be a collection. So that's a really good way to play the game, is like looking for collections, like kind of think of Monopoly. So like if you have like three of one color, someone land on your property, you get like more rent. It's kind of like that, like you get bonuses from like actually like collecting three of some certain streets or three of certain neighborhoods in a city. So it's just like that's the gamification part, like wondering and speculating on what's going to be a collection that you should grab and hold on to.
Got it. Well, that's really fascinating. Thank you. I'd love to give you a tour of the Infiniverse if you're ever interested.
I am.
Because
You can
yeah,
totally hit me up.
we'll connect.
I'll put my email in the chat too, so you can just email me if you need to. Or I guess,
Oh,
well,
perfect.
I guess you can reach out to me here. But yeah, I'll put my email just in case.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Yeah, I'll send you it.
I love to
a friend.
see it. Also, Tink's Playground. I know Lilyfield in the chat said make sure you join the Discord and get all the GOSS first as well. Um, I know when I was doing well big into Upland in the beginning, that's where I would see it as well. I was in Upland when they first came out with the train and then the airplane. That's where they finally started getting my money, because I was like, man, you gotta pay to take the train everywhere.
Oh,
But
crazy. Yeah.
they would put everything in the Discord to let you know what's coming. So I think the Discord was definitely a great point as well for adding that in there, Miss Lily. And then
Thank you.
Lily, I know Blue also asked if you wanted to share anything. So was there anything that you did want to share about being a woman in the metaverse, or anything that you wanted to add to the conversation for today? If not, it's okay. That chat was perfectly fine. And that's open to anyone as well. Did anybody else have any other questions that you wanted to ask our panelists? While you all are thinking about it, I'll do a few quick plugs, because I know we've talked about a few different things. If you don't know, this Raw Fest, we have multiple events all throughout the week. After this, we'll actually be going to PressBe.VR's backyard theater, and we'll be watching Ready Player One, which is like the OG metaverse movie. A lot of people refer to it because it's like, like when you see it in a movie and then it kind of becomes real life. It's all, you see so many of the alignments in that movie that it's going to be great to actually see it today all together. And then throughout the week, we'll continue to have panels, events, game night. But most importantly, on Friday, for everybody that says that they love building and want to learn about Unity and Blender, we are actually going to have a workshop to learn how to build a space in Blender, take it into Unity, and then bring it into Spatial. And it's going to
Wow,
be
great.
led by yeah, it's going to be led by a very talented builder as well. So it's going to be a few hours long, because she'll just take us through that whole process. But it will be recorded, so you can always watch it after. But you're going to learn so much. So come, ask your questions. And then on Sunday, we'll have a how to customize your avatar, because you can also do custom avatars here, and bring it into Spatial as well. So make sure you guys definitely have your tickets if you haven't, so that you get alerts for all the events throughout the week. And on that note, did anybody else have any other questions that they wanted to ask any of our panelists, or mention anything about being a woman in the metaverse? No?
I want to
Awesome.
thank you for this night, though. I do want to thank you for making it happen. I think this is pretty awesome, and that there needs to be more events like it. But I really appreciate what you've done here. So thank you.
Thank you so
Oh,
much.
Yeah, thank you.
of course. Well, thank you guys for being a part. Otherwise it would just would have been me here for Women in the Metaverse again on Monday, and all the viewers listening know I say I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it even if it's just me. But it's so much better when there's other people here. You guys shared so many amazing gems. It was so many amazing people here watching with us. I appreciate all of you so much. And this is just the first. We're going to continue to get together. And on that note, that's where we're going to actually talk about the NFT that everybody will be able to get